Let's get with the Article 3 Project founder and president. He's also making waves all over the internet every single day. I'm not even sure if he knows that this was on Reddit the other day. It is our good friend Mike Davis. Mike, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm great, and I'm very happy that Kamala is going to have a campaign rally with her most loyal base at CNN.
Stunning breaking news. And why is she bringing Tim Walz? Can she literally not sit there for an hour and just answer some questions? She's got to have him. Because you know what's going to happen. She's going to say AI means artificial intelligence. Tim, can you explain it further than that? Then he'll take over on the hard stuff, I guess. Is that the story, do you think?
It's going to be like watching Dumb and Dumber. It's going to be painful.
You're talking about Dumb and Dumber. A lot of people on social media are dumb. Some are even dumber. There was a thread on Reddit like 3 days ago where you had the entire platform melting down. Were you made aware of this, that your tweets were being used on a big Reddit thread?
I don't even know what a Reddit thread is, so no.
It's some website where you go and just write stuff. It almost looks like an old style bulletin board system where you just write stuff and somebody comments on your stuff that you wrote. They took your tweets and they were lighting you up for somehow, giving a pass to Orange Man bad or Trump is a felon and you're acting like you're going to lock everybody up when you're the attorney general. I saw something last night where you wrote about having to build more gulags, and they're taking you seriously. How dumb do these people have to be to not realize that you're being funny?
Well, I would say this, because I'm too charming, I can't get confirmed as the Attorney General. But, if Jack Smith can be the special counsel appointed by fiat with unlimited power and budget and jurisdiction with little accountability to Congress, I think that Trump can make me the viceroy. And I'm ready. I'm ready to serve.
And I think that you should. My favorite interview that you've done is on the BBC or whatever it was, where they literally said that you are in line to be the attorney general. They just don't understand. The British, I think, have lost their humor, period, end of story. It's Mike Davis. Go to MRDDMIA over on X. Follow everything that he does. Go to the article3project.org, article3project.org, and support his work. Let's talk about Jack Smith. Eileen Cannon, rightfully so, throws this out because he was illegally appointed as special counsel. He somehow is re-indicting President Trump, acting as if he didn't try it before, and he's trying to come from a different angle. Mike, is there any legal way that what he's doing is fair and okay?
No, I mean, he's ignoring two recent Supreme Court decisions. He's ignoring the Supreme Court's Fisher decision, where the Supreme Court said it is essentially political persecution to contort, politicize, and weaponize a post-Enron obstruction of justice statute intended for corporate fraud to go after your political enemies.
Right.
Jack Smith ignored that, and Jack Smith is also ignoring the Supreme Court's presidential immunity decision. And I think it's important to remember this, that Jack Smith had to have gotten permission from Biden and Kamala Attorney General Merrick Garland before he brought this new indictment. And look, there's no chance in hell Jack Smith is going to be able to get President Trump tried before November 5th, 2024. But what I think Jack Smith is going to try to do is get a very expedited evidentiary hearing or mini trial in front of this DC Obama judge, Tanya Chutkan, for the sole purpose of interfering in the elections on November 5th. He wants Jack Smith sees this as a last desperate attempt to try to stop President Trump because Kamala Harris didn't get her post-convention bump like she thought she would get. And with RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard, two leading Democrats, now on the Trump train, this is just pure desperation by Biden and Kamala.
Mike, the thing that I don't understand, and thank you for explaining that so well, but what I don't understand is I thought I understood how the law worked. The Supreme Court is the supreme adjudicator in the land. The Supreme Court says this law is not constitutional. Here's why. This move is not. This title is not. This statute is not. Whatever it is, ends up at the Supreme Court. They decide by the text of the Constitution if it makes sense. They made rulings on not paying back student loans that Biden ignored. They've made rulings on the border that Biden would change a word or two, and the DOJ would continue to just keep the border open. Now, with presidential immunity and with the Enron case that you were talking about, the Fisher case, they're doing the same thing. I didn't know you could just refile and change two words or an a or a the in the actual filing and still have it go in front of a judge. At what point does the Supreme Court say, hey, dude, we told you can't do this?
Remember, this is the same Jack Smith who brought bogus corruption charges against former Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell a likely presidential or vice presidential contender in 2016. And Jack Smith took his bogus legal theory. He got a conviction in the district court. It got upheld on appeal. It went to the Supreme Court. Jack Smith got reversed 8-0 by the Supreme Court. It would have been 9-0, but Justice Scalia passed away. It is very hard for the government to get a criminal conviction reversed by the Supreme Court. It is nearly impossible for that to happen unanimously, but Jack Smith found the way. But guess what? He didn't care. The political damage was done. He destroyed Bob McDonnell before the 2016 presidential election, and that's the same play he's running in Trump with 2024.
Well, exactly right. That's the plan, to harm Trump. You saw it at the DNC last week, which you're right. She didn't get any bump. In fact, Trump is leading it even more now with RFK and Tulsi joining. But having said that, they're just ignoring the rulings, Mike. They're ignoring how. I didn't know you could. If the Supreme Court rules or if a judge locally here rules on me, I can just say, screw you. I'm just going to do whatever I want. Is there really no recourse to Jack Smith or the DOJ from the Supreme Court, a different branch of government, to say, oh, we ruled on that? What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, so what's going to happen is Trump raises presidential immunity. It goes before Chuckin. And then however she rules, she's a buffoon. She's a partisan buffoon. So she'll probably mess it up again. And then it goes to the DC circuit, which is stacked by Obama and Biden radicals and Kamala radicals. They'll probably get it wrong. You'll probably have to go to the Supreme Court again. But again, this will be after the presidential election.
Wow.
Their goal right now with Jack Smith is to interfere in the presidential election. It's very clear that they're doing this. They're doing this within the 90-day window that the Justice Department usually says you can't indict these candidates. They're indicting within almost, 72 days before the election?
Yeah, right.
And Jack Smith is bringing a superseding indictment. What's the rush? Why couldn't they have waited until after the election to do this? They waited over 3 years to bring these bogus charges. What's the rush other than this is the last desperate attempt by Kamala Harris to interfere in the presidential election because she knows that President Trump is going to beat her like a drum?
Yeah, I know it was rhetorical, but the rush clearly is that calling him a felon all week last week didn't work. Clearly, calling him the mean guy and the bad guy didn't work. They were acting as if they were running against him, as if he's in office now, he's the incumbent, didn't work. Having people like Bernie Sanders scream and yell about how horrible billionaires are, and then the next guy up is J.B. Pritzker, who's a billionaire. And then Oprah comes up and speaks, who's a billionaire. So whatever they tried to game the system with last week didn't work. But if you're right, and you are, because you always are, you told me this, if this doesn't even see a judge or get adjudicated until after the election, what are they going to say? Well, he stands charged with filed new charges. I mean, what's the campaign rub here? What can Harris and Walz say about what Jack Smith is doing today that will help them in their mind? I don't get it.
So what I think Jack Smith's trying to do is Trump's going to raise presidential immunity, presumably, and then DC Obama Judge Tanya Chutkan will have to have an evidentiary hearing on presidential immunity. What does Jack Smith allege in his superseding indictment that's within President Trump's official capacity or the outer perimeter of his official capacity based upon a 40-year-old precedent in the Nixon case, and what's in his personal capacity? And I think that Jack Smith understands he's not going to be able to try Trump before the election, but maybe he can bloody him up politically with this evidentiary hearing on presidential immunity, this mini trial on presidential immunity. And Chutkan is such a hack that she may try to go along with this.
MRDDMIA over on X. Wasn't it just adjudicated by the Supreme Court that he wasn't seated properly? How is he still doing anything? I mean, I didn't see any process where he became the special counsel again. What happened?
Yeah, so the special counsel ruling was by Eileen Cannon, the district judge down in the Southern District of Florida. She ruled that the special counsel office is unconstitutional because it was not established by Congress. It's not funded properly by Congress. It's established and funded by fiat, by the Attorney General, which is not constitutional. It would be like, okay, if you want to appoint special counsel Jack Smith with an unlimited budget and an unlimited jurisdiction, like that just doesn't work. Again, do you want Trump to make me the viceroy? How much will you enjoy that if I get unlimited budget,
That'd be great.
unlimited
I'd like
power?
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I would love it because I would be relentless and I would show no mercy. But
Right.
I don't think these Democrats would like it too much. But I would also go after certain Republicans like Liz Cheney too. So I would be bipartisan.
And Adam Kinzinger. It is Mike Davis. Go in and help him out. Article3project.org, article3project.org. Quickly, I want to get into this meta thing. And Mark Zuckerberg, like watched Trump get shot that day and then woke up as somebody who's a proud American. Something changed in him. He even posted it that night. He said, when I saw him put his fist in the air, when I saw him get shot, I just thought, wow, America. And now he's like telling on the controllers. He admitted in that letter where he says, I was threatened with the Section 230. They would take away my ability to not be liable for what people post on my site. And they also threatened me with antitrust legislation or moves by the central government if I didn't do their bidding for Biden-Harris in 2020. I did it. I let them censor me. I admit it, and I regret it. What's the recourse here legally? Anything? I mean, obviously, the central government or the campaign that wanted to be the central government, either before they got elected or after, they wanted to restrict the First Amendment rights of Americans by going through a platform that was complicit. Is there any recourse?
I would say this: Mark Zuckerberg is not some angel who saw the light. He understands with litigation by RFK Jr. and others that this damning evidence is going to come out. And so what Mark Zuckerberg is trying to do is get out in front of it and play the white knight. It's actually very smart on his part. But remember, he's running a $1 trillion monopoly called Meta that controls Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp. And he's exactly right. If he was, whether he cooperated or was coerced by the federal government, he still participated in a criminal conspiracy against constitutional rights. He still let the government work with this $1 trillion big tech monopolist to censor, silence, deplatform, and cancel Americans based upon their First Amendment rights, based upon their viewpoint. And that is a criminal conspiracy under 18 U.S.C. Section 241 and 18 U.S.C. Section 242.
And by the way, he's still censoring me on Facebook. Nobody sees my Facebook posts, and they're never going to take that black flag off. So it's your opinion he didn't wake up one day and say, hey, I love America and sing the Star-Spangled Banner. He woke up and said, Trump's going to win, and I'm in trouble if I don't get on the right side.
That's exactly right. And look, Mark Zuckerberg at Meta, Facebook, Instagram, along with Google and YouTube, all these $1 trillion big tech monopolists, Google, Amazon, Facebook, and Apple, they are the puppets of China. So I don't want them to even pretend like they're pro-America now. They are scared to death that Trump's going to get back into office and there's going to be accountability.
I hope there is accountability, Mike, because they've been running roughshod on the Constitution for a long time. There was some, and I don't have the time to play it or even get your opinion on this other than to say there was a woman who supports Kamala Harris yesterday who said we need to be post that piece of paper and need to make new rules and regulations to protect our democracy. That's how dumb it's gotten. Just give me, if you don't mind, 30 seconds on a representative constitutional republic versus a democracy. They all want us to think it's the latter.
Yeah, we are a republic, right? And we are a constitutional republic with separated powers between the states and our federal government and the people, and then divided powers with that power that we loan to our federal government through a loan agreement we call the U.S. Constitution. Those powers are supposed to be specific, enumerated, limited, and divided. And the reason we do that is we do not want a direct democracy because that leads to majority tyranny.
Yes. Exactly right. It's Mike Davis. Go MRDDMIA over on X. Go follow him. Go to article3project.org as well and support everything he does. Mike, thanks a million. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Joe.